Prince Harry likely never expected his entire marriage to become the subject of another deep investigation. Yet author Tom Bower has returned to the Sussex story with fresh claims that are already stirring debate. This time, Bower is reportedly taking an even closer look at the legal and financial foundations of Harry and Meghan Markle's relationship. What keeps people paying attention to Bower, whether they agree with him or not, is that he rarely approaches royal stories like tabloid gossip. His style is more methodical. He tends to collect interviews, documents, timelines, and witness accounts, then presents them as pieces of a much larger puzzle. According to reports surrounding his latest work connected to revenge, Bower believes he has uncovered details hidden within paperwork Harry signed during 2020. Documents that he argues may explain much of what happened after the Duke and Duchess of Sussex stepped away from royal life. And if his interpretation is correct, the timing of those signatures may be one of the most important parts of the story. To understand why, Bower reportedly points to where Harry was emotionally during that period. The year 2020 was arguably one of the most turbulent chapters of his life. He had severed ties with the institution that had shaped him since birth, relocated to a new country, lost the security framework that had always surrounded him, and suddenly found himself navigating business contracts, media deals, legal obligations, and personal finances on an entirely different scale. Even many people sympathetic to Harry have acknowledged that he appeared emotionally drained throughout that transition. Interviews from that period often showed someone carrying enormous stress. According to sources cited by Bower, it was during this exact phase that changes were allegedly made to legal arrangements connected to the Sussex marriage, including provisions involving intellectual property rights and future earnings tied to the Sussex brand. That is where the story becomes far more controversial. Bower's central argument is reportedly that Meghan positioned herself within those agreements in a way that granted significant influence over future Sussex-related ventures. The claim is not limited to projects that already existed at the time. According to this interpretation, the language may have extended to future ventures as well. If accurate, that would mean anything Harry later developed using his public identity, personal story, or royal connections could potentially remain linked to legal and financial structures created during the marriage. Whether people accept that argument or reject it entirely, it is easy to understand why the theory gained attention online. Questions about the Sussexes' business arrangements have circulated almost continuously since their departure from royal duties. What makes Bower's investigation particularly notable is that it reportedly extends beyond legal paperwork. While updating his material, he is said to have spoken with dozens of individuals connected to Meghan's personal and professional circles. Former employees, entertainment industry contacts, and people who had interacted with the Sussex operation allegedly contributed their perspectives. According to Bower, a recurring theme emerged throughout many of those conversations: control. Several former palace figures reportedly described Meghan as someone who carefully managed the environment around Harry. Information, advice, and even personal relationships allegedly became increasingly filtered through her. Individuals who challenged major decisions often drifted away from the couple's inner circle, while staff members who raised concerns frequently found themselves departing. Of course, those claims remain highly contested, but Bower argues they fit a broader pattern. Even before Harry and Meghan left royal life, discussions about internal tensions had surfaced during controversies involving palace staff. Whether fair or unfair, Bower's interpretation is that Harry gradually became immersed in Meghan's perspective of events. Looking at the timeline, it is difficult to deny that many of Harry's long-standing relationships changed dramatically after the marriage. Friendships faded, communication with family members deteriorated, and his public world became increasingly centered around his wife. By the time they established themselves in California, Meghan had effectively become his closest confidant and primary support system. The Hollywood dimension of the story also plays a significant role in Bower's analysis. He claims multiple entertainment industry figures offered remarkably similar descriptions of Meghan, despite having no connection to one another. According to those accounts, she was highly effective at building intense professional relationships quickly, but those relationships often cooled once their practical value diminished. Critics see that as evidence of strategic networking. Supporters argue it is simply how the entertainment business operates. Hollywood is famously transactional, and many successful figures approach relationships with a strong focus on opportunity. Nevertheless, Bauer believes Meghan demonstrated that mindset long before Prince Harry entered her life. One reason he reaches that conclusion is because he reportedly revisited Meghan's first marriage to television producer Trevor Engelson. For years, many casual royal observers barely thought about that chapter of her life. However, Bauer believes there are parallels worth examining. Meghan and Trevor spent years together before marrying in Jamaica in 2011. Their marriage ended only a short time later, and publicly the split appeared relatively straightforward. There were no explosive public accusations and little visible drama. Yet, Bauer's sources claim the legal negotiations surrounding the separation were far more detailed than most people realised. According to those accounts, Meghan approached the discussions with a strong focus on long-term financial considerations. She allegedly paid close attention to legal wording and future earnings potential. One element repeatedly highlighted by Bauer involves provisions connected to projects and opportunities developed during the marriage. His interpretation is that Meghan understood early on that future earning power could be more valuable than dividing existing assets. Whether or not that characterization is completely accurate, Bauer argues it reveals a consistent philosophy that later reappeared in the Sussex era. Another major theme running through his analysis is media management. Bauer portrays Meghan as someone exceptionally skilled at understanding modern public relations. Rather than depicting her as a mastermind controlling every event, he suggests she possesses a strong instinct for protecting her image and controlling narratives before others can shape them. He points to the breakdown in Meghan's relationship with her father, Thomas Markle, as an example. Long before the wedding controversy exploded into headlines, Bauer claims concerns were already being raised about how media communication surrounding Thomas Markle might affect future perceptions. When Thomas later became a constant source of tabloid stories, Meghan's team reportedly viewed him as a risk that had been identified much earlier. The discussion becomes even more intense when Bauer turns to public relations strategy. He reportedly places considerable emphasis on Meghan's relationship with Sunshine Sachs, one of the most prominent PR firms in the entertainment industry. According to his interpretation, the timing of that professional relationship raises questions. Sunshine Sachs is known for handling high-profile reputational challenges, crisis communications, and celebrity records emphasized Meghan rather than Harry. Similar patterns operating with or without Harry. Looking back, some observers have noted a gradual increase in solo appearances and individual projects. Harry became heavily involved in legal battles, Invictus commitments, and media engagements, while Meghan spent more time focused on California-based ventures and family life. At the time, many viewed this as a natural division of responsibilities. Bauer, however, sees it as evidence of long-term planning. As the years progressed, Harry increasingly appeared burdened by multiple pressures simultaneously. Court cases against British newspapers consumed significant amounts of time, energy, and money. Public appearances often showed him looking frustrated, exhausted, or emotionally strained. During the same period, Bauer claims Meghan was concentrating on business development and financial organisation. He challenges public assumptions about the couple's wealth, particularly regarding the widely reported Netflix deal. While headlines focused on enormous figures, entertainment insiders reportedly told him that such numbers represented maximum potential values dependent on future performance rather than guaranteed payouts. Projects changed, plans evolved, and the actual revenue picture may have been more complicated than many assumed. The financial structures behind that revenue are another area Bauer reportedly examines closely. He argues that business entities established in California could become highly significant in any future asset dispute because they create clear distinctions between ownership categories. According to his theory, Meghan spent years organising financial protections, while Harry remained focused on legal battles, memoirs, media appearances, and disputes involving both the press and the royal family. Supporters of Bauer's view see that as evidence of strategic planning. Critics view it as ordinary business management. The discussion becomes particularly serious when it turns toward family matters. According to Bauer, California family law could potentially favour the parent who has maintained the most consistent physical presence with the children. He notes that Meghan has reportedly spent more time at home in California, while Harry's schedule has frequently required international travel. Court appearances, charitable commitments, media projects, and legal actions have taken him away for extended periods. Bauer suggests that documented patterns of caregiving could become important in any hypothetical custody dispute, though he emphasises that no such proceedings currently exist. Ultimately, Bauer's portrait of Harry is less about money than vulnerability. He presents Harry as a man who struggled for years with grief, identity, and belonging. According to former staff members cited in his research, Harry increasingly lost touch with the people who once provided balance and perspective in his life. Friends drifted away, family relationships fractured, trusted advisors disappeared from the picture. By the time he settled in California, Meghan occupied an exceptionally central place in his emotional world. That, according to Bauer, is the key to understanding everything else. His argument is not that Harry was naive or incapable. Rather, he believes Harry entered this chapter of his life during a period of profound emotional instability and placed complete trust in the person he believed understood him best. In Bauer's interpretation, that trust influenced decisions involving business structures, legal agreements, public identity, and long-term financial arrangements. Whether readers accept that conclusion or reject it entirely, it remains the central thesis running through his investigation, and that is ultimately the story Bauer appears determined to tell. Not a simple tale of manipulation, nor a straightforward account of victimhood, but the story of a prince navigating grief, conflict, and reinvention, while making decisions whose consequences may not become fully visible until many years later. If future events ever test those legal and financial structures, Bauer believes the groundwork may already have been laid long ago, during a period when Harry thought he was building a new life, but may also have been signing away more control than he realised.